Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PPUK podcast. My name's Chopin, and with me tonight is Paddy.
Good evening.
Lee.
Good evening.
And welcome back, Andy. Yay.
Good body. Good body every evening. That's a deep cut, right?
So tonight, we're debriefing after seeing the Sign of the Times IMAX. And this is a film all four of us have seen many, many, many times. But I'm looking at a bunch of smiling faces right now, so I'm guessing there's going to be some some insights to this. So who wants to take this on? Who wants to tell about this experience?
I want to jump straight in and tell you how I first saw Sign of the Times, right? Which we sometimes do this sort of thing, but I've got a pretty good story about this one.
Absolutely. Come on, Andy.
I saw it at the cinema on release. Yeah. And
okay.
I know, right? Hello, everybody. I'm an old man, and like Sign of the Times. Not only, as I've said before on here, was my in moment with Prince. It was the album I fell in love with, the single I fell in love with. But then I used to buy what we called in the old days a magazine called Time Out, and it had paper and it was real and you could touch it. And from there, I learned that there was a screening of it, bizarrely, at the Ideal Home Exhibition in Earl's Court, right? In conjunction with the Ideal Home Exhibition. They were showing a one-off of Sign of the Times on release. And, of course, I got a ticket, and me and my friend, my next-door neighbour, I think, queued up and watched Sign of the Times. And we were even interviewed in the queue by, like, LBC or something. Like about, you're a Prince fan, you're going to see this. So that is the first time I saw Sign of the Times on the big screen. And the other week I saw it 38 years later or so on an even bigger screen.
Do you know that's weird that I never knew it got screened there, because isn't that where the show was meant to have taken place if it had come to London?
Oh, seriously? What, at Earl's Court?
Yeah, I think that's did the reason that Sign of the Times the tour didn't come to the UK is because they couldn't get the license, the license to do it at Earl's Court.
Well, hang on a minute. Let's go back again, right? It was meant to take place at Wembley Stadium because I had a ticket. For
Was it really?
Yeah. The reason.
I'm confused because I thought the same as Chopin, you know.
Well,
if you had a ticket, you had a ticket.
I did. It was meant to take place at Wembley Stadium, unless I am massively misremembering. I don't think I am, and I'll tell you for why, right? That was going to be, I think, the first concert I ever... Oh, again, an old man. The first concert I ever went to was going to be Sign of the Times, and it was so cool because you probably know this, but I'd never seen this before. No one ever had, right? A dress code for a concert, wear something peach or black, right? And I literally went out with my friend Daryl Ezekiel, and we went to some lame 80s shop and bought a peach and a black polo neck, right? And braces, right? We were so lame. But we were really excited. And then it was cancelled. And I think it was Wembley Stadium because the idea was, right, that Prince's people said it was because Prince thought it might rain and it wouldn't be a good experience. But the real reason was that he didn't sell out at the stadium because that was a big ask. So I'm pretty sure that's the story.
But I think they were trying to reschedule.
I think that may be right. Tell me, Paddy, because I'm actually desperate to know if I need to know if I've got early senility.
No. June 25th and 26th of that year was Wembley Stadium.
Wembley
then he had a
Stadium.
run from 1st, 2nd and 3rd of July was going to be Earl's Court. That's correct.
Okay.
So yes, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I love the fact that we're very Fox News now and we're fact-checking.
I love the fact that we're not very Fox News.
And actually fact-checking.
But you are listening, guys, to Purple Fox News right now.
Yeah.
That's another deep cut.
So I think what happened was they had the original shows, they got cancelled. They were trying to reschedule them for the Earl's Court. The local council, Chelsea, wouldn't give them the license, and David Attenborough stepped in and tried to say that it was of cultural significance, and they still wouldn't give the license.
Oh my God, I didn't know the David Attenborough bit. I'd forgotten the Earl's Court rescheduled.
I didn't know this either.
This is... Here in his natural habitat. It's Prince, and of course, Prince. A cat has been observed on the scene as well.
If there was any more reason needed to like David Attenborough, there it is.
And here we have a sexy mother. So you were going to go to see the show, and then you ended up seeing the screening of the cinema in the room where you were meant to. People were meant to see the show.
Yeah, I mean, my 14-year-old self, I think, probably did know that at the time and would have gone, "Oh, this is where it, it was meant to be rescheduled, but here we are seeing it on a screen." But I had forgotten all that. But yeah, that's how it went down, folks. I felt, really bummed out to miss the Sign of the Times tour, of course, but it was great seeing the screen, and of course in '88 I got to see Love Sexy, so there you are. Yes, that disgruntled faces, jealous faces here, folks. Jealous faces. This is not a nice scene right now. Here we have the lesser-known green-eyed Prince fans.
Just don't tell me it was one of the days where George Clinton was on stage.
Dude, it was.
Oh, no. Emerald green.
Yeah, and I think Mavis too.
Oh, God.
Sorry, man. Shall I just leave now?
Peach, black, and green right now. So what was like initially? So you watched the film. I mean, I'm guessing you already had the album. You were loving the album. What did you think of the film on initial release?
What, when I was like 14? I mean, no, honestly, no, that's a serious question. I can't remember, but the answer would, at that point in my life, like any second with Prince was a good second, right? So if you'd asked me before, during, or after that film, I would have just said it was 1 million out of 100, Yeah. So and like my feelings on the film haven't changed that much, to be quite honest.
So you roll around. I'm guessing you've watched this film many times over the years on various VHSs, screens, DVDs, Blu-rays, and what have you.
Yeah.
So you sit down in the IMAX and you watch the film, and your impression of the experience.
Right. Well, I think I'll give it to someone else now, because it's not the Andy podcast, right? It's we've got some other folks here too.
It can be the Andy podcast.
Oh my God! Yeah.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
Andy, did you see it at London? Was it the London IMAX?
I did. Was it on other IMAXs?
Yeah, it was in IMAXs across the country, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's spoken like a true Londoner. I didn't know there was the rest of the country. No, I didn't clock that. But I saw it was on, and I was like, I'm not missing this, right? Because no matter how many times you've seen this, when are you going to get that chance again? And I'm sure we're all going to be talking about this, but the idea of watching it with a community around you, as part of a community, is something that we haven't had the chance to do for a long time in Prince world, and not with this film.
No, completely agree. And it was really good because PPUK, we asked people to share their photos, and they emailed their photos in, and we've got a whole gallery of all people across the world that all saw the IMAX concert. And they shared the pictures of the cinema, and from Basildon to New York to LA, crazy. It was really.
Don't you mean from Pakistan to Poland?
Well.
Straight into your town.
I need to check that out. I haven't kept up with all the stuff we do. You do really, Lee, but I will go check that out. I've got an important question for everybody here, right?
Okay.
What did you wear?
I wore a T-shirt that said Prince Sign of the Times on it from a very, very specific provider in the States. It's even hard to find the T-shirt because I knew what I wanted in my head, and I thought, I wonder if this exists anywhere. And I looked and looked and looked, and I found a print place in the States that did it. So it's just Prince and then Sign of the Times underneath in the Sign of the Times font. Nice and simple, to the point. Worked for me.
Which is the greatest font ever as well, by the way, I think.
It is,
It just is. It's the Prince font, I think. I know Purple Rain is, but this one is. What about you, Shopes?
I wore a rainbow children t-shirt. No, I'm joking.
It's all good. It's all good.
Actually, I don't remember, to be quite honest. I don't think I wore something Prince. I'm going to go through my phone and have a look at the pictures.
Awesome. What about you, Lee? Do you remember?
I wore the traditional purple with Prince text official t-shirt.
Oh, very cool. I wore the replica, the reissue of a t-shirt that I loved from back in the day, from when I went to see the Love Sexy concert with George Clinton and Mavis Staples. It was the one where Prince is written kind of vertically down the side, down the front, and it says 88 on the back, and it's just made up of a gazillion different patterns. And I got to the IMAX with my bestie, Polly, shout out to Polly, and another big Prince fan, and when we got there, this woman basically went, "Oh, I got that t-shirt," and she pulled up her jumper and showed me it. She went, "But mine's original." And I was like, "Oh, but mine," I was like, "I had the original one, but I wore mine to shreds, and that's why I had to buy the..." And I think that trumps her, right? But hey.
I love that Prince fans play the Trump the t-shirt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think she got the nuance that I was actually cooler than her because she didn't wear hers to shreds, but there we go.
Well, there you go, exactly. She's only a part-time Prince fan. No, I've taken a look, and it was a floor, and it was just a shirt. I'm sorry, I've let the side down. I didn't wear a Prince shirt.
Chopin, from some of the things that you've dressed up in for various Prince events over the years, it's fine. You're allowed a day off.
It's true. I left my arseless trousers at home. my yellow lace ones at home.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was, if it was the Glam Slam 92 showing, maybe.
That was perfectly timed to make me do a spit take on my Highland Spring sparkling water. Thank you.
Shout out to our sponsors, Island Spring Water.
Shout out to our sponsors, Assless Pants Inc.
So, Lee, what was the first time you saw it?
The cons? Well, the first time, Jesus, I probably couldn't remember. It was probably when I was playing catch up when I became a Prince fan. Early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, Batman, leading into Diamonds and Pearls. All kind of Graffiti Bridge, Diamonds and Pearls. And then I was just playing catch up, and I probably watched like a VHS tape of it, or a friend had it on VHS tape and watched it on that. And and it was just more of a seeing him perform live, and obviously it then led into watching a lot of the specials like VH1, The Beautiful Experience, Ride Divine, and all of that. So and it was great to see on VHS. But when I saw it on IMAX, I went to my local cinema because my son works there. So he was supposed to come with me, and I was like, "Oh, I have show him like Prince," because he kind of like, Dad does this Prince stuff. He doesn't really take any interest in it. And I was like, "Oh, he works at the cinema. I'll get a free ticket, and he'll come with me." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have to work." So I ended up going on my own. But there was loads of Prince fans in locally where I live as well. So it was really, really good to see. And everyone was wearing Prince t-shirts. And obviously Dylan then realised how much of a big thing it was, because he saw all the people queuing up, and he kind of was like, "Oh, that's a Prince fan, that's a Prince fan, that's a Prince fan. Oh, do you know my dad?" Yeah. So that was really good. And and I was blown away. You pay more interest in it when you're watching it, and it's just really like it's over the top of you, really. And I think I wrote a review, and I said it was like having Skittles being thrown at your face. Well, peach and black Skittles if they did them. And it was just
as in the sweets, or as in the like things that you buy.
No, as in the sweets.
Delicious peach and black sweets, definitely.
Sponsored by Skittles. So it was incredible, and it was really great to see. And you see more of the storyline with Prince and Kat. I don't think you pay much attention. You kind of just watch the performances. You realise how he tells stories with his concert videos, such as like The Beautiful Experience, and that was what kind of I took more interest in, of the story and the relationship between him and Kat. And it was like, oh right, there is actually a story. It's not just a concert. It's not just performances of multiple songs. There is like a thread to follow, which I really enjoyed, and I became an 80s fan for once, I think. Yeah, I know, I've been converted, thank you.
Oh, yes, seriously.
It was really, it was like, seeing Housequake, Hot Thing, two of my favourite songs for 80s Prince.
I'm sure we'll get on to talking about these and just drooling over them track by track in a bit, but I'm glad to hear that. So when you say you've been converted, it's like, I think you've just seen the light a bit on the 80s side of it, have you?
Yeah, it's like, oh, come join us. That's 80s fans. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
This looks amazing. But it was really, really good to see. And I was so happy with the global turnout across the world.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, and I've done some research, IMAX were incredibly impressed with the turnout. And, there was a lot of incredibly positive reviews. And it was really good that Prince fans made such a noise about it, and it got picked up by Forbes and stuff like that about how the BFI screenings were sold out and stuff like that. So that was really, really good to see.
So, Paddy, what was your first experience of the film?
Well, let me ask you a question first of all. Have you all been to see it once?
Yeah, I've only had a chance
the IMAX.
Once.
Yeah.
Losers, I went twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was Andy thinking he was cool with his retro t-shirt because he was
I saw it in 87 or 88. What do you want, guys?
We want to say there's Paddy seeing it twice now.
Oh dear. So I guess like most Prince fans, I saw it on VHS back in the day, having got into Prince. Just too late to have gone to Love Sexy, so unfortunately I missed all what I consider the great tours.
It's a shame because sometimes he had like George Clinton and Mavis Staples with him.
So I hear.
Just not every night, just on the particularly great nights.
Yeah. So for me it was I'd never seen it on a big screen of any type before, so I was a VHS kid, and that's where I'd seen it. I've seen one of the Blu-rays since, which looked a bit perkier and a bit sharper. But this was just out of the ballpark. Just to drop it in as well, I was really impressed by the release of that sort of lead single-esque on the streaming platforms of the Sign of the Times Rotterdam recording, which sounded absolutely gorgeous. I played that to death whilst walking around where I live. That one song, absolutely amazing. If only they'd do the whole thing, but hey, probably not. So for me, in some ways, a similar thing with Lee. As soon as I was aware it was happening, I said to my daughter, "Do you want to go and see Prince?" And she's sort of like, "What do you mean?" And I sort of explained it to her, and she is a reasonable Prince fan as well. Kind of honest to God, independent of me. It's always been on around her, along with a lot of other music, but I've never really pressed it. So for me, it was the first showing, which went to see at the Trafford Centre in Manchester, which was so stressful to get to. I was in the car, like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's like a moment in time. We're going to miss it. There's nowhere park. It was terrible. But we kind of got in just towards the end of the couple of trailers that were on and sat down, and it literally started. So I was lucky. But no, for me, it was a very emotional experience because Molly was there to enjoy it with me, and I feel like I've taken my daughter to see Prince at his peak, and then I was honestly, I was completely overwhelmed. It's a concert I've watched from a fan perspective over and over and over again, from a musical perspective to listen for things, to work out how things are played, to do arrangements from a musical point of view. And it was like I was watching something else. The best way I can explain, first of all, I've actually written an article about this, which you can read on princeparty.co.uk in a more
shameless plug.
A more curated, calm sort of delivery rather than off the cuff. But the thing that struck me was how massively present Prince was which might sound really weird. If there is a line, and at the bottom end of that line, there is a VHS video cassette, and at the other end of the line, there is actually being in Rotterdam or Paisley Park watching Prince perform the concert. Where the sort of the marker fell along that line was a lot closer to the latter than the former for me, and it shocked me just how close that was. And one of the things I said in my article, I don't know why it was that particular part, and I said to Molly, I said, I am going to get upset at this, I think, because it's just the power of it, and boy was I right. And then towards the end of Sign of the Times, when they walk on with the marching drum motif, and the band just walk behind him, flanking him playing the guitar, and I just boom, gone, absolutely gone. And then just proceeded to watch it through, seeing I've seen it so many times, yet it didn't feel quite the same, and I sort of saw things I hadn't seen before. One song jumped out to me a lot more than it ever had, and just little things like the stage setup was so boutique, and I never got that feeling watching it on any other format. Watching it on IMAX, it was like they were all crammed into a small space underneath the sort of hung neons and that sort of folding effect of the hotel sidings and things. Just loads of stuff like that. I'll come back with more stuff, but Andy, what were you saying?
I was just going to interrupt just because you got me excited again, just how emotional it was, and when just how many, I just had so many goosebumps throughout the whole thing. But one of the big goosebumps was the band coming out with the snares for to do the military snare drumming on Sign of the Times. Just as you said, can I have a guess at the song that was a revelation for you this time?
Yeah, go for it.
Was it Slow Love?
No.
Okay. I'll save that for later.
Okay, cool.
So, Shopes, let's hear about. Let's hear your in here, Shopes.
So I watched this on Channel 4 before I ever heard the Sign of the Times album. So for me, these are the first versions of the songs. It kind of affects how I listened to Sign of the Times the first time. I mean, the title track obviously already knew, and You Got the Look already knew, but things like Beautiful Night, it was just like, once I listened to the record, I was like, oh wow, I've been used to this super high energy version, and then I kind of like adjust myself into this kind of groove, as opposed to, like this kind of steady groove.
It's the Revolution version, isn't it? Really? On the album, which I love.
Revolution Live in Paris it's really, I mean, it's a great version, but for me, the Sign of the Times band, oh my god. I have an interesting relationship with this film. It was probably one of the first times. I think the first Prince concert I'd seen in video was Syracuse, because somebody brought that round before I was properly a Prince fan. It was like while I was on the cusp, and it was one of the things that made me a Prince fan. It was around the time of making like the kind of the first 3 months of someone's subtle indoctrination, but this was the first one I found on my own, just like watching it, and I taped it off the TV and I watched that to death, and until I got my own copy, and I don't think much was edited out. And over the years, I've watched it. I've danced and played along to it and watched it a million times. From DVD to VHS to DVD to Blu-ray, from TV broadcast with adverts. The IMAX was a completely different experience. Like, going back to what Lee said, there is something about the storytelling that you don't actually see on the VHS, from Cat and Prince's nuances on their facial expressions to each other. There is something, I mean, I knew the story and I'd got the story, but it was just like, you'd realize quite how much, I mean, it's not that I hadn't got it before, it's just that I realized how much of it was in the edit, and how many subtleties get lost on like a small cathode ray TV screen because I was watching it in my upstairs second TV, not the first big one, but a second small portable TV from the 90s, if anybody remembers how badly fuzzy those things were.
Yeah.
And with an aerial that I was hoping wouldn't go fuzzy and fuzzy during the show and would only do it during the commercials. So yeah, it was an amazing experience watching it. I kind of split myself in two. There was one part of me was completely fanboying, was reliving, just being there with other fans, being in a concert. Like, there was part of me that truly felt like that, and there was something above me that was truly high. But there was also the creative and then somebody who's been on film sets and stuff like that and worked with cinematographers, looking at it going, this has shown me every single flaw in the making of this film, and it shows how rushed it was. But that's not a bad thing. To me, this is kind of, the way in which like Dirty Mind was a rushed kind of demos, but it just still has the life, and if it reworked it, it wouldn't have the energy that it does. I think Sign of the Times, first of all, it's really easy to tell on the IMAX which stuff was shot at Paisley Park and which stuff was shot in Rotterdam, because the stuff in Rotterdam is basically out of focus, or would be considered soft focus. So there was, by the way, this is not to diminish the fact that I was sitting there the whole time with my heart in my throat, going, this is the most amazing experience. I'm clapping along. I'm like, we're all singing along and fun. But it just showed you the audio was flawless on this. The mix was flawless. The audio was flawless on this film. But the visuals were just showed that Prince did this on a whim, just so because he didn't want to tour the States. He was just like, like a couple of days beforehand, we'll film a couple of concerts professionally, not having proper. I'm guessing they didn't have proper. They didn't relight it for filming, because there's different lighting for a show, and when on the night that they film the show, the lighting is slightly different. You've got more lights, you've got more, I don't know if they had proper camera rehearsals or anything. All of that stuff shows, but here's the thing. You are capturing a moment of genius. So quite like what Susan Rogers said when she was here on the show, you're not capturing, you're capturing a performance. You're not capturing a sound, or you're not capturing a visual. You're capturing a performance. The guy was so damn good. The band was so damn good that despite looking at this film, that if it was anything else, if it was in any other film, this kind of technical flaws would ruin the film. You'd be like, the reviews would be, this is unwatchable. But because Prince's performance is so undeniable in this, because the music mix is so good that bass is pumping, those kick drums and bass are like pumping like nothing, that actually, like reviewers are saying, this is the best concert movie of all time, move over Michael Jackson. But on the IMAX, anybody that can see, but just to be clear, it didn't diminish my experience of the film, watching it like that, warts and all.
I get it. Here's a question. I'm not so good at spotting like the technical visual things about the film that you talk about, right? But I do have a question which I know you will answer, Chopin, more, well, maybe others can answer too, right? I can never remember the exact story of why it had to be retaken at Paisley Park and what that meant in practice, right? So what was the process? What went wrong with the initial filming and the initial concert, and what did Prince do to mend it? Because I've got a half of a memory of this story, right? And in my head, it kind of takes away. It's a shame because you can sometimes see lip syncs and things, and you can see bits where like the vocals do not match where the microphone is.
Of course,
and that always makes me wince a bit. On the other hand, I think that if you remind us of the story, right, it's going to It's like unbelievable what he did to patch this together. It actually kind of, in a way, makes it better that he could repair this and make it a concert movie. So can you remind us of the process?
So one of the first things to do is, in terms of that patchwork, is like saying that he put this together. One of the people that really saved this film was Sheena Ree, because first of all, he's a couple of days out from doing these dates in Rotterdam. He says, "Get a film crew. We'll film. It's not. He doesn't film one day. He films over, I think, 3 days, which is why again the lip syncs won't match, because you're kind of doing different film angles on. I don't know how many cameras. I don't think there was that many cameras that film for first of all." Prince's formula seems to be, because the 5-camera coverage worked so well for the Purple Rain movie, he seems to favor that kind of 5-camera coverage for anything that looks like it's about to go out, or at least up until when he started doing things in the round. I don't know how many cameras, like professional 35mm cameras he had. I don't know if they had the right stock for low light. They probably didn't have time to relight the show. Usually when you're filming a show, you've got it like it's in months in advance. It's booked in, so you have some tech days beforehand to set up. And this just didn't have this because of the way because they were all planning for the American tour, and he was like, "No, we're going to film this, put it out." They look at the film and listen to the audio. The drums haven't been given enough separation, so they're bleeding onto other tracks and stuff. So what ends up happening is all of this stuff. They get back to Paisley Park. They've got dark footage. This is the story that I remember reading, and to be quite honest, having watched the IMAX, it rings true.
Yeah,
is that they've got, everybody says dark footage, but now seeing it on the IMAX, they had out of focus footage as well, or at least soft focus, where the lines are a little blurry. Also, there's a little beauty work on prints for some of the Paisley Park shots as well, because you can. I don't mean that it wasn't pretty. It's just that there's a difference between doing 3 takes and having a makeup artist between 3 takes of the same song and doing a whole concert. You sweat the makeup off. It's a real live visceral thing, and you're trying to match that with something in the studio. So there are so many technical things.
Right, look at the difference between this and Love Sexy, for example, in that regard, where he's an absolute mess by the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. You look at the way when he's doing Anastasia and there's sweat dripping down him, and because he's in a hot room and he's been there for 2 hours working it for like 2.5 hours in under stage lights. Like, it's not the same thing. Someone's not coming around doing touching up your makeup. So, and also, if you have a look in Slow Love, you can see the sweat through the shirt, like which you don't see on the VHS, but on the IMAX you can see where he's sweating out, and it's not entirely consistent throughout the film. So you have little things like that.
But I guess what I'm thinking about is the audio, right? Why did he have to redo the audio again? Do you remember, or do you know?
Well, I just think there was something wrong with the drums, and then Sheila E. had to record the drums from start to finish.
Right.
I think there was something to do with not enough separation. They bled onto other tracks or anything, but I'm not entirely sure about that one. I knew there was something wrong with the drums recordings, or I know, what it would have been. Drums are mic'd, which means that all of the guitar noise from the amps on stage and the vocal monitors on stage would have bled in to the drums. So if you turn up the snare, or if you turn down the snare, you invariably start affecting everything else, because there's a little bit of everything else on the track. So you don't have as much control of the sound. And especially things like cymbals and hi-hats, because they're done with microphones. Now, things like Forever in My Life and Sign of the Times are fine because it's just Lindrum, so it's just straight out. There's no microphones. It's just a plugged in. So there's all of this bleed from all of the noise on stage. And if you're trying to control that enough to make a mix that works in cinema, you've got to do some work. And what they decided was that Sheena E. was going to re-record all of the drums from start to finish. And that's what they did. And that's an edit job visually as well.
Yeah.
So then they do the production of, at Paisley Park, and that's a lot sharper. You've got, anytime the camera's moving smoothly across the stage, that's a thing called tracks. So they're moving on tracks. It doesn't look like they had any of that actually at the shows. Those are shots from Paisley Park. So it's essentially a hybrid film. And then obviously you've got narrative that's kind of skewed on.
It's a patchwork, right?
It's a real patchwork. And the fact that they managed to make anything out of what was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see what they have.
Yeah, no, I think this is what always amazed me about the film as well, right? Like, it's like, imagine if you said, oh, here's a concert film and some of it's lip synced, right? And someone would go, oh, because they're not a very good performer. No, the opposite, right? Because nobody but Prince, right, could have actually reconstructed a concert from that original footage and that original material. But he actually reconstructed it with, as you say, with Sheila Re's help. I think he did some overdubbing of his own as well. That's how I kind of remember the story. I might be wrong.
Hot Thing sounds like Hot Thing, the vocals from Hot Thing. God, they're heavily treated, but they sound like they were dubbed. They don't sound like the live vocals.
Right. So basically, it always kind of blew me away that, like, it's like the guy basically just reconstructed in the same but different image something that had already happened to some extent, and like that's just kind of unbelievable. Like, I mean, I love the parade and I love the Love Sexy gigs because they are they're a record of what happened, right? But Sign of the Times accidentally became a kind of refraction of what the album is as well, right? The album is such a patchwork.
Well, yeah, that and it's a patchwork of the tour as well, because there's so much of the songs.
Exactly.
I mean, you can take something like You Got the Look, right? Which is like everything else is filmed in 35mm, which is a certain size 35mm film cell, and You Got the Look is, if not filmed, at least edited on 16mm, which is a lower grade. So it's like going in the middle of a film, going from CD to record. For the audio variant would be like going from CD to one of those really old crappy MP3s back to CD.
It was very noticeable. It was incredibly noticeable. So my question would be, would you have taken that out? Because it was incredibly noticeable. Or would you try to upscale it or something?
Well, they have upscaled it. All of it's upscaled because it wasn't filmed in 75mm out. It was 75mm IMAX.
The thing I will say about that is that I was waiting for the You Got the Look for You Got the Look for that exact reason, because of the source being of less quality, as it were. But because the audio wasn't, it just felt like it didn't matter.
Yeah, I agree.
When the Lindrum kicked in with the bum tit, bum tit, bum tit, it was so kick-ass, it just didn't matter. I kind of loved the juxtaposition of that. The difference between the concert film and the concert is that obviously that You Got the Look wasn't even played on that tour. So it's sort of fantastic that it was dropped in, and it fits sort of so well. Obviously, it's very much part of the concert film narrative. I just loved all that.
I wouldn't have taken it out for a moment. It's like, it was weird at the time that it was there, and it's weird now, and it's great. And like, you lean into Sign of the Times, and you lean into Love Sexy, and you lean into that period, and it's whack. It's whack as hell in the best possible way, right? It's like nerdy, peculiar, geeky, inspired strangeness, and everything is wrong in the right way. And so, like, you have to keep You Got to Look in there to me. And also, just to suddenly hear the actual, Prince's actual studio production blared out in the IMAX, it sounded weirder than ever. Like, the song, in a great way, because I love these songs. This is my favorite album, and You Got the Look is such a strange piece of music. And as is pretty much everything from that period. And it was so cool. It was just a slightly different dimension from the rest of the sound in the movie.
And for me, the reason I wouldn't take it out is because it works, because it's a dream sequence.
Definitely.
So it's not meant to be happen at the same time. So on a visual level, it works. Living with a sound designer, you realize how much you actually listen to films rather than watch them. And over the years, I've realized how much of a film is actually the sound and how much is actually the image. It's not the split that you think it is. I mean, try watching a silent film without the piano, and the drama and the feeling and the immersiveness is just not there.
Or they say in horror, sound is the first thing that alerts you to anything that's going to change. Sound design is everything in horror.
Yeah, I mean, horror is basically a visual radio play half the time.
I think for me, as much as I love that song, it was very. And obviously, I've watched a lot of films, and I'm a big film buff, and I go to the IMAX a lot. And for me, that was the bit where I kind of like, not disconnected, but it was like, and it was frustrating. It was like, surely in this day and age, there must have been a way to improve it as much as possible. But like you said, it's 16.
How can you improve? Crazy.
From a technical point of view, I wonder what the source material for this was. I'll be honest with you, because when I saw the end credits, it gave away a thing of there was dirt that had been scanned. Like there were dust and stuff. And this is from archiving, working in the archive. That's one of the things that we used to try and get rid of. So like kind of it was like my eye just goes anytime there's dust on a screen or like glue on a joint, it's just like oh. So on the end credits, the main film is moving so fast you don't even notice it. But because the end credits is just a clear peach with moving text, it's like it becomes evident, and then you start to go, well, where did they source? There's no credits for the upresing for the people that did it, which is usually when you have an IMAX film or you upres something. There's usually separate credits for the 2025 remaster or the this screening had none of that. So I'm kind of curious as to actually where they sourced it from. Did they upres a Blu-ray? Did they upres an actual 1935? Sorry, 1930, ding 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 ding. 1935 sign of the times. No, a 35mm sign of the time. So I'm kind of interested. But though, to be quite honest, those are questions that really most of the audience, and most of these questions that I'm asking, are questions that the audience really don't give a damn about, and neither should you, because
definitely in Chopin land now. These are very Chopin questions in a good way.
Yeah. And I understand that actually none of this actually matters, because everybody that went into that show, into that theater, was moved,
right? And
that was the whole purpose. So, like, when I say these things that sound like I'm picking holes and flaws, what I'm telling you is, what I'm really saying is, despite all of this is stuff that would kill a film. Like technical flaws that would just annihilate a film, that would just it would put it in the raspies, it would be like Rotten Tomatoes. So
it's just another level of miraculous that Prince could make this happen. And I agree, right? The flaws throw into relief yet another aspect of his utter genius and utter will to succeed, and just this ethic, which is we are making this film, and that is not going to not happen. That is happening.
Not just him. You can. It doesn't matter how you film. Bonnie Boyer screaming forever, like that shit's gonna move you,
right?
Like
exactly
that end of Forever in My Life. Everybody said forever,
boy.
All right.
Well, I tell you what, I think we should talk about the songs, but I want to say one thing about the actual, just about the visuals before we go into that. If everyone would like to do that, because I would. I do think that like the patchwork nature of it that we've talked about is amazing. What they made of it is miraculous, and also really there are some really clever little touches throughout that really just. There are some spot effects that just work beautifully. We can talk about the interstitials in almost as a separate thing in the dream sequences and the storylines, but just those moments where you suddenly see, like in Play in the Sunshine, I think you see like a heart, a star, and Prince's boot come down, or in Hot Thing, you just get one freeze frame as he's kind of turning his back and flicking his coat up. And there are just these moments that are very sparing that you just go, oh, bang, that's just like one little extra firework that keeps me guessing. And I think they did such a great job of like, what's the word? It's just a magic trick, this movie, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like when Sheila E. like does the dun clicks her, clicks,
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
sticks in the air, and then Cat's like just standing there doing like shaking it, like in the shadow of the things. It was just like I've always loved that scene, but in the IMAX it was just like I was like,
oh god, yeah. But can I also just quickly say a shout out to the fact that my favourite conversations about Prince are the ones where people say things like, you know, when Sheila Reid does her da 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 da, and those are my favourite kind of conversations about Prince, where we go, you know, when he goes, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Okay, so to start off the song by song.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start with da 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 because it's such a guitar-y song, Paddy.
Yeah.
So, Sign of the Times, the song.
I didn't anticipate song by song.
Have you got any?
Okay, what is there not to like? For me personally, there's like, what is there not to like about Sign of the Times? Sign of the Times is definitely one of my favourite Prince songs. This exact version that was on that old VHS video years and years ago is my favourite version of this song. The guitar intro is lush, big C chord, a little bit of a whittle, then it goes from F back up to C, beautiful. And then another big favourite of mine is Electronica, so then you get this thunderous beat. When you watch it on IMAX, you really get this thunderous beat.
Yeah,
it kind of kicks your ass. Yeah, I'm not going to go into massive detail about the songs because we've kind of done that elsewhere. But in the context of a gig opener, this is also my favourite Prince gig opening song as well. More so than Let's Go Crazy, which people who know me, it might surprise. For me, this is my favourite Prince gig song opener. Boom.
Is that what you sorry, Paddy? Is that what you do for Endorphin Machine? Is that what the opener for Endorphin Machine?
Sign of the Times opener. No, never done it in the band as an opener. I've often thought about it, but just not got there yet. I don't know. It's in my mind at some point.
I was just curious on how much this, as a concert, Sign of the Times, how much of that do you take from your live performances?
Yeah, hugely is the answer to the question. When I started the whole thing, I was very much into doing his live arrangements where I found things that I particularly liked. And because I was such a cassette head and into bootlegs, and then additionally trying to create our own segues by sort of listening to a cadence of his logic when he was putting songs together. So yeah, Sign of the Times, very, very heavily. The version of Never Take the Place of Your Man is this one. The version of It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Life. Gonna Be a Beautiful Life? What am I talking about? Gonna Be a Beautiful Night is, other than When We Break from the Vamps, is basically that version. The version of Housequake that we've never done yet is going to be the version of Housequake from this. The version of Play in the Sunshine is the Play in the Sunshine from this live show. So yes, no, very, very much was this a template for how we have a go at reproducing stuff. And the live versions are incredible. And very complimentary to the album because they're so much more in the forefront and powerful. I think of Sign of the Times, a song. I think of I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. And the degree to which they're lifted into the live environment is just another example of how good he is at his craft by jumping from what he records and how he presents that to how he then presents it live. Amazing.
So, Lee, how do you feel that this version of Sign of the Times stacks up to the album version, the live?
Yeah, I love all the live songs in the concert. Like I said, I've kind of seen the light and been converted.
When you say, I need to know, What do you mean provoke? Are you one of us now, Lee, or are you tipped to us?
No, for me, it was like from a creative point, it was very inspiring on the IMAX. Like I said, I'm a big film buff, and I always like the movies I know that are visually going to be very stimulating. And seeing this on the IMAX, just the visuals, and a lot of the iconography, it kind of all stood out a lot more for me. I recently designed and this isn't a shameless plug, but I recently designed a flyer. And if you look at the flyer, it's very inspired by what I saw at Sign of the Times. So all that, the pink, the purples, if you look at the flyer for the most recent party we've done, it's very much inspired by Sign of the Times. So, yeah, and the songs, my two that stand out for me, if we're going to do song by song, is definitely Hot Thing. The visuals of that with the light to his face, that was amazing. And the bit where they go into the cage and they're up against the cage and stuff.
You dirty, dirty boy.
No, but it was just more of but it was more of the theatre-like performance of it telling a story of like, well, what are they doing in the cage? And that's the story part of it. And
it's okay, Lee. I get it. You read Playboy for the articles. I understand.
Yeah, I read Playboy for the articles. Yeah. But it was more of
I'm joking, man. It's all good. It's Prince's fault, not yours.
But it was more of that part. You don't understand. Perhaps you don't take notice because, like, it's on VHS or you've seen it so many times. But obviously, the cinema experience, that's what I'm trying to say, is you take more interest in the story because it is a cinema experience, and your brain's trained to take in the story experience of any film. And that's what I kind of pieced together more of the story when I was watching it, that, oh, yeah, they're in the cage. Oh, and not that I'd not thought of it before, but I was like, oh, okay. And like I said, Hot Thing and Housequake, it's like you couldn't date them. If you brought someone in, they would think it would be a recent thing or a recent Prince. There was no, and like, the colours and stuff were just, it was just, and a lot of people said this, it was like seeing him in concert again, which I think, and like you hit on, Andy, about it being a community thing and being in being in the cinema, it was like being in a concert because we all know the song lyrics, we all sing along, we know what's coming next. So, I think, and it was really great to see, that community element and people, who wasn't dancing in their seats in the cinema, who wasn't singing along. It was.
And I mean, there were people clapped after certain songs at my screening, that's for sure, and whooped.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was more of, from a 90s fan, seeing that, and it was like more of a, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Well, I think I've sent us on a slightly wrong path. We have talked about, obviously, all the songs a million times. I think if we pull out moments from this film, because it is like a scattering of, like, let's say, a fireworks display, then, Yeah, exactly. So let me give you a couple of mine to kick you off, right? Like every song, but everybody knows that this film starts off gigantic and then Housequake goes, let's climb up a few stairs more. And once Housequake is there, everyone, if you only had 1 foot off the platform, right, you are there after Housequake, right? Come on. Housequake on this film. And this is the one where you just go, oh, right, he can do anything then. He is a cartoon. He is a caterpillar. He is James Brown on speed pills. What is this? This is a playground.
When Housequake came on, I was like, I've watched it over 100 times easy. And I was just like, shit, what, the movement is insane. But why do I think the movement is insane when I'm perfectly educated, literally educated, that the movement is insane? That was something to be said for the IMAX presentation and the size and the impact of it. But yeah, Housequake, as you say, Andy, it was like the shit just got real, and it was pretty damn good already.
Yeah. Oh, you thought it was that? It's this. It's the bit in The Princess Bride where he goes, "I'm left-handed," right?
Yeah.
It's like, all that and this too.
He puts his foot down on the accelerator.
For sure.
I also, with the Housequake, I think you can't really say the impact of Housequake without talking about that transition from Little Red Corvette.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know, that kind of you know, the way that Little Red Corvette. Yeah, I mean, that's the only song I believe that isn't.
That's right.
And it shows you how integral that bit was, that they couldn't just cut that out. Because I think if he could have, he would have just made it songs from the album.
I found that incredibly poignant as well when watching it, when Little Red Corvette came on. It's like when your favourite artist was at their height and they were getting all the critical acclaim, they could do concerts which were basically concerts of the album and present all a lot more album songs with less hits. As you go on in your career, it's basically hit songs with the odd one from your new album. And adding in Little Red Corvette to the concert film felt so sort of right, and just like I don't know, it really made me feel sort of warmed in that.
It felt like the right one. It felt like if you're going to have one little reminder of where he's come from, that's the one for some reason. I think just because it's worked. I think it's because it's not a beaty song as well in this film. Right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you why you're right, but you're right.
I know, right? I can't tell you why I'm right. But the thing is, Prince was right, and I was thinking about this a few days after watching it, right? And like, you know, in later years where he would say things like, "If you came to get your Purple Rain on, you're wrong," or whatever, or he'd say like, "If you thought you were going to get Little Red Corvette, you ain't seen nothing yet," or whatever. This is almost a way of doing that, but without saying it, where he plays it, jumps off and says, "Shut up already, damn." It's like, remember that? It's not that, it's this. And it's like, it's the most sublime way of doing it, because it bowls you over with Little Red Corvette, and then it says, "Shut up, we're doing this now."
Yeah.
I love the way that you forget that he does you know, on this tour there are a lot of hits that he does do.
For sure.
And like the only way they make their way into the film, apart from Little Red Corvette, is like you can see in the You've Got the Look, you can see like there's little clips of him doing Kiss.
That's right.
Like and doing little bits of solos and stuff like that from where he was doing other songs that they'd filmed that were just not used. There are so many musical highlights in this. It is like from the very first guitar, there is something angelic and angry about the way that the guitar starts. That big, like when she runs, when Cat goes stop, and then it's like da 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 da, and then it comes down into the beat, and it's just, I could sing the whole thing, but I won't. But and it's either that or there's like Miko's guitar is. During Housequake, Beautiful Night, is just so staccato and clean and precise and funky. It's
Beautiful Night playing is fucking sublime. Yeah. It is fantastic.
Especially when it breaks down and they're resting on his riff while they switch over drummers.
Oh my God, can we just not let that moment pass for a second? One of the things I've often thought about Prince is what he does that no one else ever thought to do or could do. And one of those things is changing drummers during a song and changing drummers back during a song. Why would you even think of it? Who could do it? Prince and Sheila E. can do it. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that before or since. And no one has. And that's amazing.
Not even bands like the Foo Fighters, who had two really good drummers in them.
Yeah, it's, you know, there's lots of bands that have got great musicians, but who even, quick pop quiz here. Oh, not pop quiz, quick poll, right? Straw poll. Who likes seeing Prince play drums? Oh yeah, we all love it, right? We just love Prince on drums. Yeah. You don't see it often, and you can't get enough of it. And this is the apex of it all, because it's like it's changing over during. It's insane. If Housequake is the step up to the higher floor, right? Beautiful Night is the rooftop party later on, because Beautiful Night is the absolute blowout where you do not even know what's happening anymore, right? There are people that bit where he gets all the dancers, well, everyone in the band basically, just kind of making some sort of weird human mass. You don't even know what it is.
Oh yes,
it's like
Matt Fink's got his foot on the side of the keyboard,
and they're making this kind of just weird, like maybe like what you do in primary school in drama. Let's all make a dinosaur or something. No one's telling you why it's happening or what's going on. It's just happening, and it just blows all your circuits, right? This is a good performance, is what I'm saying. I
mean, you can edit this out if you don't like what I'm saying, but it's like if Funkadelic done the Human Centipede. It's just like this big chain of funky, massive bodies that are all connected but not. But like,
it's absolutely bonkers, right?
It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's an appropriate way of describing it, actually. I think it is, yeah.
Never thought I'd hear that movie come up in this podcast.
Anyway, moving on really, really quickly. So the song, which I do love, but not as much as the other ones that stood out for me, was Hot Thing. I was really quite blown away in this particular presentation of it. The colour, the exuberance, Cat. It was funny you mentioned the stuff with I think I wrote in the article, the sort of the banging between the fence type thing. But the whole, I don't know, the movement, the difference in colour with his costume, I think is really important. Very understated, but really important. And it brought out like just again, seeing Kat, I mean, how can that not be emotional, right? She was so beautiful and so happy looking and so coy at times. Seeing it in beyond sort of godly Technicolor with booming sound, amazing.
That outfit instantly and for all time became known as the Rubik's Magic outfit, didn't it? And the Rubik's Magic. Everyone's looking at me like I'm just
the Rubik's Magic.
You don't. Do you remember the Rubik's Magic that you had hoops and you had?
Yes.
Okay. I guess everyone's looking at me like I'm just making noises.
No, the black thing that had hoops that you had to match.
Yeah, it just looks like the Hot Thing costume. This is not a diss. It's awesome. Very 80s, very odd.
But the thing about that was that apparently they were on stage one day, like in the rehearsals. That I think it's Roy Bennett had done the lighting, and Prince was like. And there was all, there's the circles that are the same color as his outfit, right? The circles of lights are the circle of his outfit. Well, the circles of lights came first, and then he said, I want some fabric that's that. And so he designed some fabric that matched the lighting, and that's where that outfit came from.
Weird. That's so brilliant. So Prince.
It's so reverse.
It's so reverse. It's so far.
It's so reverse. You start with the outfit, the artist and the outfit, and then you like that costume. You go, okay, so they're wearing white, so all we'll have is this. But it's like, no, I like that lighting. I want to match that lighting.
Just brilliant. I mean, that reminds me of my favourite misheard lyric of I always heard closing time on You Got the Look as I might have said this before on here, is I always heard it as clouds in time, like he was orchestrating the clouds, and like
nice idea.
It's a nice line, right? Clouds in time, but it's closing time. But that's kind of like weirdly matches. You see some light, and then you want to choreograph your concert according to that light or design your clothes. That's so weird. One of my favourite things about Hot Thing in this performance, right, is the organ solo he does before it is one of my favourite pieces of Prince music, bar none, right? Oh, well, not bar none. One of my favourite pieces of Prince music, hands down, right? It's just it's got such great sub-notes in it and ghost notes and weird little intonations. And I always just thought, again, one of the many, 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 and there are hundreds and thousands of these, just like Prince casually throws away one of his greatest little bits of music as just an intro.
The way that organ goes from holding lines to pretty flourishes to percussive, like
right, that's it.
And then there's the funky line, da da.
Here's a random question for you, because I've just thought of my answer. I don't know why this came into my head. If you could put one other track from one of the mainstay tracks from the concert tour into the film, what would it be? Because for me, I would have put the version of Girls and Boys that he did in.
I was going to say Girls and Boys instantly. Had some great horn flourishes at the end that weren't on the
song.
Fantastic. That version. But what about you guys?
No, it'd be the same.
I'd be tempted with that because it is a great version, but there's something about the way he does when doves cry with the with the whoo, like the dog bark snare, like that whoo. I mean, but the only reason I wouldn't initially pick that is because we get it in Love Sexy, but there's something about the way he does it on the Sign of the Times tour that is like that. And sometimes he does that. If I was a dog and you were a cat, maybe I'll see you where it's
that's true.
He does like la la, so you get a little bit of la 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 he in with Dove's Cry, and then
Chopin, you've made a really good case, but it's still Girls and Boys.
Okay, I'm fair enough. I'm not mad at the idea of Girls and Boys just because of that staccato guitar at the start, that jung jung jung.
I always felt that was like a picket fence in the middle of the song, just like it's just so weird. You don't put guitar there. You don't put guitar there in the bar. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's great.
Maybe we'll cover all that in detail when we get round to doing tours. Anyway, that's all good. I was just curious.
Here's why I thought you might say Slow Love, right? When you said there was one, I know, because who thinks of Slow Love? But look, I've been watching this for years on VHS and then on whatever DVD bootleg I have of it or whatever, I can't remember. And I have often bored and then lost girlfriends by showing them bits of Sign of the Times, right? Because I was like, it's like you're it's like I really want to show you this. Once I show you this, you'll get it, right? And then I usually show them Housequake, right? But then I'm like, oh no, but also I have to show you this. And then it goes on to, and then it's this. And then, I've just got to show you Never Take the Place. Oh my God, you've got to see Beautiful Night. He changed his drums. Right? Now, when I've watched it on DVD over the years at home, I have very rarely watched Slow Love, right? So I had all but forgotten the performance of it. Now, the reason I want to highlight it here is just because he absolutely leans into the kitschness of it. He absolutely leans into the comedy of it, and it works so well. It highlighted something else about this whole show. Obviously, the facial expressions that he pulls throughout the whole thing. And I had of all the songs, I had forgotten the performance of Slow Love. And it was just so nice to see he was adding all these funny little after the lines. Yeah. And it was like Charlie Chaplin doing Slow Love. I loved it. Real surprise.
I think Slow Love has a hard job because it rests you between something like Housequake, and then Hot Thing, and it has a hard job of being noticed when its point is to be a kind of
palate cleanser.
A relax, yeah. Sorry, between that and I Can Never Take the Place of Your Man, its job is to be kind of like a palate cleanser and to create dynamic. But it is amazing. The horns in that are just
unbelievable.
Just from the start lines, that those kind of like
yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
the smoky trumpet at the beginning is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I love this tour for trumpet. This is my favorite Prince tour for the trumpet stuff from Atlanta Bliss. Yeah. He's utilized in a way that is somehow better than on other tours where he's utilized, which is fine, and it's really, really good, but this is just sort of on point for me.
I agree, right? I also am always blown away by how a two-horn section, this two-horn section, Eric and Atlanta, how is it so full? They add so much, and they add, to me, they do the job of 6 or 8 horns in any other band. It's unbelievable what those two do and how well they work together. And I agree, Paddy, this is their absolute apogee of that.
I think one bit that's musically kind of sometimes, because Prince isn't on stage, that doesn't sometimes get the love is the Now's the Time. But that Levi's bass solo, oh my God. Yeah. Sheela's drum solo, the whole thing, like that is a fire band. I mean, this thing, when I said, like when Lee saying he's like an 80s cover, I get what he's saying in terms of like, because I've never this has always been one of his fire bands, Sign of the Times and Love Sexy. I've always thought that, I just happen to have more affection and stuff for the MPG style and the
thingy,
but there is no denying, and I think a lot of people concentrate on, when they talk about 80s, they concentrate on the Revolution. I think his best 80s band was the Sign of the Times. Well, my favorite, sorry, not best. Best is a wrong thing because they all have their periods and other things.
Why is it known as the Love Sexy Band and not the Sign of the Times Band? That's what gets me.
It's kind of known as the Sign of the Times / Love Sexy Band.
I've only ever heard it referred to as the Love Sexy Band.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's just what I've read in the discourse that I've been part of, but yeah.
Okay. I always describe it as like Sign of the Times Love Sexy, and thought that's how people talked about it. Yeah. Can I just come back to the Smoky Trumpet? The intro to, apart from Now's the Time, which again I love how jazz inflected this whole band is, how jazz inflected the set is, and the shadowiness of it, literally the peach and blackness of it, the neonness of it. But that very smoky intro to Never Take the Place of Your Man. Doom, 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 doom. Oh, I can't do it. But there's this kind of walking bass line, and then Atlanta's Smoky Trumpet comes in, and then I think you see Wally strolling in, and they have a conversation with Kat over the bar. But like the intro to that and Atlanta's trumpet is it's so film noir. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I think that was like my biggest, it's going to sound stupid, but I had a greater respect for it because of like the neo Art Deco style that I kind of didn't notice before, and like the 1930s style Americana kind of visuals and the almost Shakespearean storytelling with the visuals and the side little talks and stuff like that. It's more of a theatre production as well as a concert.
Well, I think I think I've got this bit right. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but the Sign of the Times album cover, the reason all of those big old signs are there, and they say, is because they borrowed the Guys and Dolls production set from down the road, right, to fill out the soundstage. And then that became the look of the tour as well, which is just beautiful serendipity and marries this whole modern, it's the link between this very, very ultra modern music, like, that version of Hot Thing, that version of House, they're bizarre, right? They're so modern. Mm-hmm. And it marries it to the past, and it marries it to the Americana and the dark alleys and snooker halls and pimps and all of that stuff. So it becomes cohesive.
It's one big smoke-filled room.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Vibe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think something that really struck me about the little set pieces that happen, the little filmed bits in between the songs as well. I think I've had this feeling before, but more than ever on the IMAX, it felt like when you see like Kat in the room, when you see Prince looking at the jewelers, it feels like we're going into the city behind the signs, and we're actually in rooms behind the stage, and that's so weird and brilliant. Like we were in this absolutely bizarre doll's house.
Yeah, because a concert film can just feel like it's in a concert hall.
Yeah,
and this does not.
It's a stage.
It feels like it's happening in a small club.
I mean, to me, it really does feel like it's happening in a weird city, a magical city.
I think it's what he tries to do less successfully on Graffiti Bridge, or what he
very
tries
much
to
so,
create.
yeah.
Because
Less successfully, I would say, yeah.
well, because he forgets with that, he forgets the smoke in the room.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
he's got the big bold style and color. I think what he's forgetting is that you have to see the air.
But well, I think so. But also, I think that this is the moment where everything comes together, and the continuity that I was talking about between the old and the new. And I've said this before to you, Chopin, about how I think this period is Prince's most. It's his most tasteful, most intellectually sublime, and sharpest. It's his sharpest vision of all time, I think.
I would not argue with you on that one at all, because I think it's almost his most adult taste.
Yes, I agree. Well, this is his most mature moment, I think.
And again, like I said, from a 90s fan perspective, I can see how the crowd synced with him, where something peach and black. It's very at that time period, you can see how it kind of synced up. He synced up with the moment, like you said. It's modern and the past, but it kind of, like you said, it all syncs up.
It
and
does.
the crowd, and obviously the fans at the time, synced up with it as well. So I think, like you said, it is probably his perfect time. And I can kind of see that now from going back and obviously watching it now.
I think above all other reasons, right, the reason that the critics so laud Sign of the Times is because they respond to that sense of taste and higher taste that is operational at that period. And that to them is like for the ages.
Which is sort of why it's not my favourite era. And I know this sounds strange, but I do not disagree with you in one iota.
No, I know.
But I sort of, because, I like the kind of John Waters, which is very much.
You're a bad taste.
I'm a bad taste. I like bad taste. I think there's something artful and telling and worthwhile about bad taste as well. And I think I kind of love the one of the better thingy, the bad taste of, say, something like Exodus. It's garish. It's happening. It's all energy and no thought and no cerebral. It's all instinct. It's all guttural. Or something like when he leaves Warner Brothers and he kind of, the early kind of Adobe paint box artworks of saying like Emancipation.
Lee, don't listen. You're a new convert. Don't listen to this. He's trying to get you back.
Forget the gregarious, intransigent approach to music. Just think of the smooth artiste of 1987.
Yeah.
Lee, get freaky like your headbutt.
Oh my God!
He's back. No. Seriously though, but
you could probably play a few tracks in the 90s and you'd get me back. But like I said, I had my respect for the album, for the concert, for I had a greater respect for it now.
Just wait until you see Glam Slam 92 on IMAX. Now that is something I would love to see.
Obviously, a musical artist, as a visual artist, again, I always say Prince doesn't get credit for his artistic eye and the things that he merged together, and the things that visually, like I said, the iconography, the heart, the mirrored heart. And obviously, I think Andy said it, or Paddy said it earlier about the jazz element to it, and I'm a big jazz fan. And I was like, I realised, you're seeing it on the big screen, the biggest screen you can see it on. It was like, wow, it is a theatre experience. It is a mesh of Dick Tracy and jazz.
Cops and Robbers. I mean, he's got wearing a police cap in A Beautiful Night, and double denim too.
With electronica. I mean, who else would have those jazz stylings but start with Sign of the Times, the song?
The best way to describe it for me was, I've always looked at Sign of the Times or some of the 80s albums and the 80s concerts as kind of like just books that I've had to read up on and don't do my homework as a Prince fan.
Wow.
And seeing it seeing it in the IMAX, it's like, wow, it's a pop-up book. I was like, wow, this is the best pop-up book ever.
Yeah.
That's the kind of homework I can get behind.
That's a great way of describing that set, actually. An amazing pop-up
Oh,
book.
this was it. It was like, it's like, oh, it's Sign of the Times. Let me do my homework. I've got to read this book. Yes. I like this page. I like this page. I like this page. I'll skip this page. I'll skip this page.
Well,
and then seeing it in the IMAX was like, wow, it's a pop-up book, and this moves, and this moves, and oh, there's a story there, and there's a story there.
I mean, also on the IMAX, right? The attention to detail where you can see like every drum riser, every cymbal has got a little heart stuck to it or something dangling off it. Everything has been just like liberally decorated with this mad kind of like that, Prince's Liberace side, just kind of just putting shit all over the place. It is such a fetish box, such a trinket, such a over decorated, brilliant doll's house.
But I'm willing to bet 99% of the fans all saw it at the IMAX. I bet they noticed one thing they've never noticed before.
Yeah, 100%.
Easily.
Oh, totally.
I bet everyone noticed something. It'd be really great to hear people's feedback on what they noticed that they never heard before, or heard or saw before.
I thought I knew that film back to front, and I noticed like hundreds of new things I'd never noticed before.
Seriously, for me, it was the entirety of Slow Love. It was like, this is really good.
But one thing I would like to just comment on is the last three songs and how they sit with this as a visual concert film. The last three songs are epic beyond epic. Part of it is the size of this presentation, the quality of the sound, and just the way it is watching it in IMAX. But it's so perfect and random at the same time. You've got sort of a gospel campfire song, which is quite minimal. You've got It's Gonna Be a Beautiful Night, which is like James Brown on acid, just gone mad, sped up. All the jiggery pokery going on, the dancing, the playing the drums, the Sheila rap, the musicality, the vamps, the trigger words, the runs, the A train. It's mental.
Yeah.
And then you get the song The Cross in the right song, in the right place, at the right time, with the right visual, living its best life. That song has parity with and is sibling with Purple Rain, with Gold, with Planet Earth. It's slow. It's a steady build that ends in guitar soloing, basically. And the way that it fits, this is the place. That song shouldn't, I love it on Love Sexy Well, of course I do, but in a sense, it should be played last. It should look like that. Mm-hmm. He should be dressed in that denim jacket. He should be playing the peach guitar. The cuts where you see him up in the top corner as a whole, and then the top half of his body when he's looking down and playing the solos, you can see him as if he's sort of concentrating and almost like an Olympic athlete. He's just sort of putting effort in. And then the whole thing with the lights at the top when they all start tilting in unison. That moment and again, that's like a crescendo of three songs that could finish a concert. It's so perfect. And watching it on IMAX, so fucking powerful. It's ridiculous. You could play those three songs on their own and forget the rest of the concert, and it would just completely blow people away from me. And that felt huge, absolutely huge.
Also knowing to switch Beautiful Night with Cross and put the cross at the end because this wasn't a concert and you weren't going to get an encore. This was a full stop, and knowing that the cross had to close the show.
Well, and also, this is Prince. He wants you to go home on that message from this film, doesn't he?
Yeah. Obviously.
The second time I went to see it, weirdly enough, me and my daughter, from first time I went to see it, we were at the service station halfway between Manchester and Huddersfield, and we stopped for a coffee. And my feed pops up, and there's a lady I used to go to school with who put, Paddy, are you aware this is on? You probably are. Hope you're doing well. And I messaged her back and said, I'm currently sat at a service station, having been to see it with my daughter. And I said, as soon as I can find somebody else to go with, I'm going to go and see it again because it's on in Leeds. And again, I haven't seen this lady for a while. And she said, I'll go. So I ended up going to my second showing with a friend from school. And I got into Prince in my last year of school and got really weird about how I dressed. And I had a denim jacket and it had Sign of the Times all written out on the back. It had embroidered Sign of the Times and Love Sexy little bits and pieces. So
we want pics.
So she knew, her name's Joanne. She knew me as that guy. So anyway, we sat and watched the concert. I didn't get all sort of emotional the second time round. If anything, I was paying more notice, and it was a slightly different IMAX experience. And at the end, she's a witness. Interesting. And I was talking to her about Prince, and she said, she keyed very much into the cross. And I told her about Prince and his sort of spiritual. He was balls in one hand, Bible in the other. Became a witness. Seemed to wane a bit in terms of his output or what we understand he wanted to share with people through music a little bit later on and all this kind of thing. And yes, the cross was the one that, and then while I'm saying that, I'm forever in my life as well, sort of grabbed her, and I got the opportunity to, and she goes, "My God, absolutely amazing, wasn't it?" I'm like, "I was telling you this in 1989, for God's sake, and nobody listened to me." All my friends were metalheads at the time, and people at school were just, "What are you doing, Paddy?"
Again, right, this is very vindicating what Lee was saying earlier, right? The response to this film, the reappraisal of something that the critics knew and the fans knew, but not everyone knew, right?
Yeah.
And this is a really successful release for the ongoing campaign to make sure that Prince retains his rightful place and is even elevated in the public consciousness.
100%.
And apparently IMAX are in talks with
the estate.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is, because I know we've got to move on. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to say, Paddy, something you said actually reminded me of something when you was talking about the crystal ball and, in the interstitials and the kind of in the world. On those last three songs, apparently he wanted a massive crystal ball in the middle of the stage every night, until one of the techs said, if there's any problems with it, if you touch it, you will turn to dust.
Oh, wow.
Literally, when they're small, it's fine.
That lightning ball, yeah?
Yeah, well, on those lightning balls, but he wanted a massive glass one in the middle of the stage, and they were like, this is sort of like that kind of Love Sexy stage, where having a waterfall in the middle, and it's just no. It's electrics night after night.
We will perform miracles, but not at the expense of your life, Prince. Okay.
You can do it now because of LEDs and stuff like that, but you can have water and stuff. But then, God, no, they were direct plugged in. So the idea of this massive thing just turning Prince to dust on the first.
I've just got this vision of him deciding to finish the show by having some special effect where he just walks up to it with his finger and slowly touches it, and then poof, in a puff of smoke, he's gone.
Well, what a lovely note to end on, everyone.
I just want to throw in the fact of, after I came back, I did look on eBay for an electric crystal ball just for my house. So I was like, if I bought one of that, then that's it, I'm fully converted. But yeah, I went on eBay and I was like, that would go really well in the living room. And I was like, and I searched on eBay for one of them. I was like, oh, yeah. So yeah, I definitely think I have been converted.
I think the shop at the time was the Sharper Image, which was this American store that used to sell that kind of razzmatazz, and it's so 80s. That electric ball is so 80s. It's you can't help but love it in the film. It's just oh yeah, it's Prince with his $99 electric ball from the Sharper Image.
I wonder if people, after seeing this at the IMAX, has anyone else went out and bought an electric ball?
I bet there were a few searches on eBay. I really do. I think it's awesome.
So right, apparently, just to close this off, I'm just going to the quick fire one.
Yeah,
IMAX are apparently in talks with the estate to do another IMAX Prince screening.
Oh, yeah.
Now, thinking not just movies but anything. What would you like to see up-resed and view in IMAX? So, Paddy first.
Oh, we've discussed this. Love Sexy Tour for me. It'd be nice to see something that wasn't Dortmund, if there was something that was specifically captured. But yeah, definitely Love Sexy Tour for me.
There's definitely 35 mil from that period, from Camden and that sound check
I want the big concert. I think that was the most spectacular. Again, different ways of liking it. To me, that was the most spectacular show he ever did and the most technically astonishing show he ever did. But I'd love to see that on IMAX because for me, that's the place for it.
Lee?
Either the Beautiful Experience or the Gold Tour. See, I'm coming back. The Gold Tour, or a mixture of music videos or a piano and microphone that he did in January. Something that he'd done at Paisley that we know about or we haven't seen. Yeah, so that would be my 3 answers.
So everything, got it. That was spoken like a true Prince fan. I think because we've had the Sign of the Times stroke Love Sexy Band, there you go, Paddy. I would think I'd like to see the Detroit birthday gig with the Revolution.
That would have been shot. I'm pretty sure that was shot 35 mil.
So they could do that. That would be nice.
Okay, that would have been
I'd like
good.
that very much.
But also, I think for the anniversary in 2027, I'd like to see the Sign of the Times actually come back for the anniversary.
Nice.
I could comfortably watch it once a week for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that.
Yeah, and also, Andy, I would agree with you with the caveat that they do the full-length version with Soft and Wet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's keep our geek on here. Yeah, I got to have Soft and Wet as well. That show is so good, and I think again that was the show that stuck him, that sort of cemented him to the old Soul reviews as well, where it's just such a stylish show. I love that show. It's
interesting because I've got a long list of things that I want to see.
No,
that I would
you surprised me, sir.
I was waiting for him to just go.
Well, Lee, you've just added one because I was like the things that I was toying between was like Beautiful Experience, Love for One Another double bill because they're both only 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking of is that I haven't seen, but I would like to see because it would be all new, is the 3121 or Lotus Flower film.
Oh yeah, yes.
Because I would like to see it, and if IMAX is a kind of means that. But now that you've said the Paisley Park piano and microphone, upgraded to IMAX, I think that would be a very moving experience. That would be amazing.
Oh God, though, I've just had another weird thought. Right,
go on.
I'd kind of like to just see Under the Cherry Moon on the IMAX.
Yeah.
That would be cool. It would be quite weird, right? It's a very weird film anyway, but it would be so weird to just have like Prince making those eyes at you, right? And doing his kind of, to
the drum.
Yeah. Just doing all those really weird affectations, right? On that size screen and in black and white. I think that would be a weird and fun trip.
So with that, I'm sure we could be talking about this for another 2 hours. I'm guessing our wish lists about what would be released and what could be on IMAX could be another 2 hours as well. But on that note, thank you for joining us. Thank you, Paddy.
Cheers.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
And thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back soon.